Hi, welcome back everyone. I hope you had an awesome week. If you were able to do the homework of writing down times that you used wise mind or emotional mind as well as logical mind, that would be awesome. If you want to take a picture and send it to us, that's great. And we definitely want to see what type of progress you guys are making. And it really is important to actually take the time and do the homework, just like as if you were in school, because when you write everything out, it really does help to put things into perspective. So, like we said last week, we want to give you another acronym, which is basically it's there to help distract when you're in crisis, or when you're just feeling an overload of emotions and you don't want to be feeling that way anymore. So the idea is that wise mind accepts. And so accepts is our acronym. And what does accepts stand for? It stands for activities, contributing, comparisons, emotions, pushing away, thoughts, and sensations. Okay, so these are some things that we can do to distract ourselves from feeling overwhelmed with certain negative emotions. So, for example, for activities, some things that you can do are engage in exercise or hobbies. And I know that for a lot of people, especially me included, exercising, getting into the zone of exercising is so difficult. But I will tell you that in the past 2 years of my adulting life, one of the things I learned the most is that you cannot be cheap with your body. You have to invest into your body and you will reap the benefits. It is very much worth it. Okay, so whatever that means for you, if it means spending a little bit extra on good produce, or if that means spending a little extra for a gym membership, things like that, okay? So, exercise hobbies, you can clean, you can go to an event or call or visit a friend. I like to make a list, and a list of all of my close friends, and then I on my notes on my cell phone, and I put little emojis when I've seen them. So, for example, I just hung out with my friend Maria, and so she has a little emoji next to her. And I also hung out with my friend Kenya, and she has an emoji next to her. And I just talked with a friend named Andres, and we said that we're going to meet up. So he doesn't have an emoji next to him just yet. And so in that way, I can see, like, oh, wait, who haven't I talked to in a while? Who would I say that I was going to meet up with? And I haven't actually done that yet. So putting cute little emojis kind of just like helps me out. To want to get it done and fill in these names that don't have emojis next to them. That's so sad. I want everybody to have an emoji next to them, right? So, call or visit a friend. You can play computer games or go walking, um, go out to eat, have decaf coffee or tea, go fishing, chop wood, do gardening, anything like that. Okay, so to do an activity, if you're feeling, overwhelmed with sadness, anger, anything like that. You can also contribute. So, contributing to someone, you can do volunteer work, give something to someone else, make something nice for someone, do a surprise, a thoughtful thing. So, for me, I really liked make something nice for someone else, and I had underlined that. If anything in the lists that we're saying stands out to you, make sure to write it down so that you can refer back to it. So make something nice for someone, or something that I do is I just make birthday cards, and I don't actually make it for someone. I just make it in advance, and so then I can like go into my stockpile and just pick out a birthday card to give when it's somebody's birthday coming up. Okay, with comparisons, the second C in accepts. Comparisons. Compare yourself to people coping the same as you or less well than you. Compare yourself to those less fortunate than you. You can watch soap operas, read about disasters, and other things suffering. Now, this one's a little bit iffy, right? Because, like, I know that during the election, for example, it was very difficult for me to see certain things in the media that was going on, or even now, for example, with things in Aleppo. It's very difficult to watch these videos, and it almost makes me more sad. But for some people, it might be beneficial to them. I know it's worked for me in the past, that I see these people and I'm like, well, at least I'm not in their shoes. And it's not to invalidate your own struggle, not to do that at all. But sometimes it just kind of puts things into perspective. Whenever I'm feeling grateful, I always resort to the very basic things that I feel are my human rights. Having shelter, food in my stomach, and shoes on my feet. Okay? So it's basically just practicing gratitude, right? And something that I added to this list, which I think most people will like, is to compare yourself to yourself at a different point in time. Okay, so if that's like for me for now, I'd be like, wow, I'm so happy that I'm able to make these videos and I'm not, thinking of ways to kill myself anymore. I'm making these videos, or I think back to a happier time where I was, living on my own, and I don't know, I felt so free. And I think back to that time and I'm like, it makes me hopeful that I can reach that point again at some point. So just comparing yourself to previous times in your life. Okay, next for E, we have emotions. So you can, this one's fun. Okay, so you can read emotional books or stories, letters, go to an emotional movie, listen to emotional music. I know a lot of my followers are music heads. Okay, so listen to music. But what you want to make sure is that whatever you read or listen to or watch is the opposite emotion that you're feeling. So if I'm feeling sad, then I'm going to put on Chance the Rapper, which is super happy and like awesome, right? And then if I'm feeling happy, like overly happy, and I don't know, maybe too accelerated and I just have too much on my mind, maybe I'll listen to some slow music that'll kind of calm me out. Okay, with P, that's pushing away. So P in accepts is pushing away. And so what you can do is kind of push the situation away by leaving it for a while. That doesn't mean you want to just neglect it and shove all your feelings down to the bottom of your stomach and, let it come out in an explosion, tantrum, or panic attack later on. That's not what we want to do. But just for the moment, you can put it aside and say, I'm going to return to that later. So what you can do with this is you can leave the situation mentally, build an imaginary wall between you and the situation, or block it in your mind, refuse to think about it, or put the pain on a shelf, box it up, and put it away for a while. So something that you can literally do is get either a shoebox or just like a little jewelry box or something like that, and have a note card and write down what actually happened. What is the situation that's making you so angry? And put it in the box and then put it up top on your shelf. And it might sound stupid, it might sound like a waste of time, but I think that you'll be surprised of how much energy it took you into writing that was now like you're transferring anger energy into action, okay? And you're writing it down and you're putting it away. And then when you finally calm down, you can take it down and say, I want to deal with this problem right now with a wise mind. How am I going to deal with it? Okay? So that's one trick or tip. The T in accepts is thoughts. So you can count to 10, count colors in a painting or a tree. You can count windows on a building, count anything basically. You can work on puzzles. You can watch TV or read. So again, this is just things that can distract you from an overwhelming feeling, especially when you're trying to come up with strategies for crisis survival. The last letter of accepts is S for sensations. So this one's cool because basically it's just intertwining all of your senses, your 5 senses: hear, taste, smell, touch, see, I don't know, all of them. And so some things you can do is like hold an ice in your hand. You can squeeze a rubber ball really hard. Stand under a very, very hard and hot shower. You can listen to very loud music. You can have sex. Things like that. So it's just like basically getting your senses involved. Maybe slowly eat a chocolate or It doesn't have to be chocolate. It could be a carrot. It could be anything. So just getting your senses involved and really being mindful of the interaction that they're having, to try to get your mind distracted from whatever negative emotion you're feeling. So that's accepts. If you do any of these, then of course we have a little homework for you to do. And so what that is basically just making a chart like this. Okay, I know it's backwards, I'm sorry. But basically you're just writing down accepts. So again, it's activities, contributions, comparisons, emotions, pushing away, thoughts, and sensations. And then you write the days of the week. Okay, so whatever day you want to start. And basically, if you did one of these, so let's say I'm feeling really sad, or lonely, and it's just so overwhelming. And so I would say, okay, and let's say it's a Monday. So I would go under Monday and I would say, okay, at the moment I'm feeling at a 20 out of 100. Okay, so I feel like 20% right now. So I write 20%. And then I go and I use a distraction. When I said I'm going to use an activities distraction. So I go back to the video and I see, okay, what were some of the activities she said we can do? Well, you can go clean something. Okay, well, my mom did say I have to clean the toilet, so let me just go clean the toilet. Okay, cleans the toilet. Now I return back to my chart and I'm saying, and now I have to do a self-evaluation. How am I feeling? I feel better. I'm not at 100%. I feel like I'm at 70%. So then I write 20 over 70. Okay, and it shows you, how are these tips, how are these distractions, really improving your feelings in the moment. Okay, and hopefully enough in the moments will have a greater impact in the end. One last thing we would like to say about the distraction method for getting over very overwhelming negative feelings and emotions in the moment or crisis survival is that if you're already feeling toxic or low energy or just not feeling well, then why would you put more toxic substances into your body? So what we're getting at is that using alcohol or drugs as a quick fix type of deal, you really are just causing more agony in the future. Even honestly, sugar, right? So like that's one thing that I can relate to, is that I had a sugar addiction, because anytime that I felt anxious or sad, I popped a piece of chocolate in my mouth and I instantly, my serotonin levels went up and I felt good. But then I ended up gaining a bunch of weight that just made me have awful body image of myself later on, and really my health was just declining. So make sure that you're using the distractions that we gave in this video as alternatives, because those other types of substances, they only have literal negative side effects, depression being one of them. So I hope you guys do use some of the tips that we gave. So that's it for this week. We hope that you enjoyed the video and that you really do use some of these distraction strategies and maybe even do the homework. That would be cool. Make sure you're following us on Instagram at self.love.is. That's our main platform. We also have a Twitter at selfloveis, and we're also on Facebook. So make sure you check out the website, selfloveis.org. Like, comment, share. It's been awesome. Hope you guys do the homework. And as always, may the light inside of you radiate from the seed within your soul. And may you continue to plant seeds into everybody that you know. Have an awesome week, everybody.